Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Arena Garibaldi on what is this Serie A lunchtime on the continent. Relegation back to Serie B, long confirmed for Pisa. Their 34-year absence from the top tier of Italian football ended with a historic promotion last campaign, of course, but Pisa reborn and back in the elite of Italian football, a major milestone in their resurgence, but just 2 wins from 36 games in Serie A sees them drop straight back down at a whimper. They've lost 22 games in their return season, 7 of those coming in a row leading up to this one. Playing for pride and status as they make their return to Serie B. Pisa could still yet, though, have a say at the top of the table in Serie A if they can somehow grind out a result today against the odds. Of course, fixtures kicking off all over the country in about 5 minutes' time. Plenty of permutations still to come, and we'll bring you up to date with all of those as the results come in. Napoli, though, dethroned by Inter and just stuttering to the finish line. They'll welcome playing a Pisa side already relegated with very little to play for, aside from pride on their final home game here. As for Napoli, there's still a great deal to play for with 2 games to go. A win today would secure Champions League football for next season and be just their 2nd victory in 6 games. Napoli looking very nervy coming into this one. A last-minute goal conceded to Bologna subjected them to another defeat in this inconsistent run. Just 2 wins in 6 games for Antonio Conte's men. Once in a position so strong, but their recent run of form all but handed the title to Inter Milan. And now Napoli just have one job at hand this afternoon, and that is to secure themselves amongst the elites of the continent for next season. A season that's petered out for Conte's men, a welcome time to play the club at the foot of the table, a club in Pisa that Napoli haven't lost to in 4 decades. Well, 4 changes for Pisa, 2 of them enforced. A loss of discipline against Cremonese last time out saw Loyola and Boshinov sent off last week. Calabresi and A. Bashir come in for them. Maltur, Hojholtz and Anagoni also in from the start for the home side in their classic blue and black stripes with the black shorts, the gold trim and the black socks. As for Napoli and their changed white strip in Tuscany this afternoon, they make 3 changes. Politano is suspended due to an accumulation of yellow cards that he's received, so Sam Bukima, the Dutch centre-half, is in for him. Spinazzola replaces Gutierrez down the left, and Giovanni makes way for Elif Elmas to make his first start since March. Well, minutes away then from the penultimate game of the Serie A season, a chance for Napoli to secure Champions League football after a torrid run where they've been dethroned by Inter and have had to hand the title across the country and had it snatched away from them. For Pisa, a chance to restore some pride, having already been sent straight back down to Serie B in this, what is their final home game. Well, Pisa, it's a record in Serie A that they won't look back on fondly, despite the promotion back to the top tier of Italian football being a major milestone for a club who have had to rebuild themselves over the past decade or so. Of course, financial issues and off-the-field problems saw them relegated all the way down to the 4th tier of Italian football and having to start again. So their 2nd place promotion last time out, certainly a line in the sand, and they thought a sign of things to come. But fast forward, and 2 wins later from 36 games, 66 goals conceded, 22 defeats from 36 in Serie A, and Pisa have long been resigned to the fact that they will be heading straight back down to Serie B to fight once again. Well, the ball's on the centre spot. Malte Hojholt, the Danish centre midfield is standing over it for Pisa. A shot of Rasmus Højlund on our monitors here at the Arena Garibaldi. 13 goals in all competitions for him, 10 of them coming in La Liga. No goals in 6 games for Napoli. A bit of a dry spell by the standards that the Danish forward has set himself this season. As we just await kick-off here in bright Tuscany sunshine at the Arena Garibaldi, the final home game for Pisa, the penultimate game in Serie A on what is Serie A lunchtime across the country. Plenty of permutations and ramifications to come as the goals fly in around Italy. But here it's second against rock bottom. Pisa playing for pride. Napoli knowing that a win will secure themselves Champions League football next season and just bring a nervy end to the season to its conclusion. So Semper in goal for Pisa, Canestrelli, Canacciolo and Calabresi, the 3 centre-halves. Leris and Angori will provide the width from wing-back. Højholt, Abisher and Akinsamiro in midfield, and Stojkovic and Morillo up top for Oscar Hillier-Mark's side. As for Napoli, Mere in goal, Bukima, Rahami and Juangiano, Di Lorenzo the captain and Spinazzola, Lobotka and McTominay, Alisson, Højlund and Almas leading the line for the visitors, as it is Pisa who get us underway in their blue and black stripes, black shorts and black socks. Napoli in their changed all white as the sun beats down here in Tuscany, and Napoli have the ball in their left back position for the throw-in. It's immediately hooked on towards Rasmus Højlund, brought down by Højholt, but the ball had left the field of play on that far side. It's going to be a Pisa throw-in. Well, Pisa's defensive problems stark for all to see. 66 goals conceded this season. Their last 2 goals have been scored by Simone Canestrelli and Mehdi Leris, a centre-half and a full-back respectively, highlighting the team's lack of spark up top that's really been the root of their problems this season. Just a 25 goals scored against 36 Serie A games. They've lost 7 on the bounce coming into this one, winning just 2 games all season. Never throw in here just to test the Napoli back line immediately. It's dealt with by the team in second in Serie A. The reigning champions, of course, having that title snatched away from them. That was confirmed at the start of May as Inter Milan wrapped up what is another Serie A title for them. Their 21st Serie A title for the team across Italy, and Napoli can get their first feel of the ball at the back. This is Juangiano, and it's flicked across for Sam Bukima, who's in for Politano. That sees Di Lorenzo go to right wing back for Napoli, the Dutch centre-half filling in for the captain as he makes his way further up the field due to Politano's suspension and accumulation of yellow cards, keeping him out of the side, and this is the penultimate game of the Serie A season. This is Di Lorenzo on the right-hand side, and they've been swarmed by Pisa players on this near side. Napoli, Di Lorenzo has gone down clutching his face. Referee not interested as Pisa pump the ball forward. It's looking to be gathered by Stojkovic, and he invites Morillo to take over proceedings. This is Akinsamiro on the left-hand side, just knocks it back in field, the Nigerian. Malte Højholt, in what is his first start in 4 games, the centre midfielder, found short and then rolls it back into Pisa territory. It's been a confident start in the opening 2.5 minutes from the side, already relegated to Serie B long before this afternoon's action. Hoisted forward by the goalkeeper Adrian Semper, the Croatian shot stopper for Pisa. 5 clean sheets this season for him, in a season to forget in which his side have shipped 66 goals throughout the campaign. As here come Napoli forward down the left-hand side. Leonardo Spinazzola just evading a challenge as he skips in field, knocks it back to Buongiorno. And Napoli can enjoy some safe possession on halfway. 1 win in the last 4 games for Napoli, all but handing the title to Inter Milan at the start of May. It was confirmed that it's going the way of one half of Milan. As Napoli come forward down the right-hand side, across into the penalty area, just causing some confusion, and the referee's given a free kick Pisa's way. Well, Oscar Hjelmark on our monitors, a Swedish head coach installed at the start of February. He's managed in Denmark and Sweden before taking the job at Pisa in February when they were all but resigned to relegation at Serie B. He's lost 11 of his 13 games in charge of Pisa, but I'm sure he would have joined the club knowing that he's got a job on his hands in the second tier of Italian football to get Pisa back up to the big time, as down goes Lobotka in the middle of the park, the slight figure and low centre of gravity of Stanislav Lobotka, the Croatian. Certainly the smallest man on the pitch by quite some distance, but he's won Napoli a free kick in the middle of the park. Of course, Kevin De Bruyne still absent from the starting 11. That eye injury that he's nursing for Napoli. It's ruled him out of Napoli's last game, that last-minute sucker punch defeat courtesy of Jonathan Rowe against Bologna, just compounding Napoli frustrations in which they've struggled to put some decent form together at the end of this season. Just 2 wins in 6, that coming after 5 wins in a row for Antonio Conte, and they were really mounting their challenge to look to retain the Serie A title. It was, of course, taken away from them. And they haven't been the best travellers either, Napoli, and that will bring some confidence for Pisa. Only ranked 6th amongst the Serie A teams for their form on their travels. They've lost 6 out their 18 away games this season and scored the least goals away inside the top 10 of Serie A. Although they have shored things up recently, they've conceded just 1 in their last 3 and unbeaten in their last 4 going into this, their final away game of the season before they wrap things up back in Naples next week on the final game of the season, as Simone Canestrelli will watch a ball out of play and take a throw in, the captain for Pisa. Only goal for him came 4 games ago and a 2-1 defeat against Genoa. It's been a tough side to captain, I'm sure, a tough dressing room to be a vocal voice in. And for the majority of this season, Pisa have been resigned to the fact that they are probably going straight back down. McTominay dragged back by the retreating Matteo Hoyt in his attempts to block the attack, and then Napoli get on with things quickly. They want to make this breakthrough nice and quickly, Napoli. And one is a humid and hot day in Tuscany. Don't want to be exerting too much energy for any more than they have to, Napoli. But so far, Pisa being robust and organised in their defending and containing Napoli very much to midfield areas and forcing last season's Serie A champions to work very hard to make any sort of inroads. It's 0-0, we've played 7 minutes. This is Rahami. McTominay edge of the penalty area, looking to link up with Lobotka. Out to this near side now for Elmas. Decent ball into the penalty area, well defended, only as far as Alisson, who looks to shift it onto his right foot inside the box. Hoisted back into the penalty area towards that far post. Elmas was arriving, snapshot from the angle, deflected behind off of Samuel and Gori. It's going to be the first corner Napoli's way. It was patient but purposeful build-up play by the team second in Serie A, and Angori got himself across to block the effort from Eljif Elmas. The North Macedonian international will take himself across to take this corner. Pinball inside the Pisa penalty area after a decent delivery, but the side bottom of Serie A managed to hook the ball to safety. Buakima. Now Spinazzola on halfway for Napoli. Buongiorno on halfway, looks for Alisson in front of him. He just knocks it back into his own half, and Napoli once again will have the ball inside their own territory. This is Buakima, who didn't play against his former club Bologna, as Napoli suffered that last-minute defeat courtesy of Jonathan Rowe last game. As he's filling in for Politano, who misses out due to an accumulation of yellow cards this afternoon. The ball in the hands, though, of Adrian Semper, the Croatian goalkeeper, sporting the headband just to keep that long hair out of his face. He hoists the ball downfield and it only falls to his opposite number, Alex Mere, who's making his first start in 9 games after his Croatian counterpart has been preferred between the sticks by Conte for the last 2 months or so. The ball squeezed down the right-hand channel with Højlund on the move, but across comes Calabresi to deal with that for Pisa, hoisted back up from where it came by Napoli, and then Moreo can get his foot on it and look to charge into the Napoli half, but it's taken off his toe and it's hoisted back to Alex Mere. Well, Stefano Moreo, if Pisa are going to have any sort of joy this afternoon, they're going to look to him, their top goal scorer, as it's threaded through into the penalty area for Pisa. Rare attack for them is brought to an astute end, and then Napoli only half clear the ball. It falls to Akin San Marino, and there's a decision for the referee to make here. A collision of bodies on the edge of the Napoli penalty area. The decision has gone Napoli's way. Di Lorenzo involved for Napoli, as is a Bashir, the Swiss midfielder for Pisa. They're coming together, a collision of shins, painful one for both of them, but they've both walked away without any lasting injuries, it looks like. But a rare attack for Pisa. Stefano Moreo at the heart of it. 6 goals for him this season, but no goal in 7 since a penalty against Calgary. And no goal in open play since January for the Pisa striker. Of course, just a personification of the problems that Pisa have had at the front end of the field this season, which has ultimately resulted in them heading straight back down to the second tier of Italian football. But if Pisa are going to have any sort of success in front of goal this afternoon, they are going to look to their top goal scorer, Stefano Moreo. But they've got some defending to do here, because Napoli are surging forward down the left-hand side through Alisson, the loanee from Sporting, who's just looking to take on Mehdi Leris down the Napoli left-hand side, looking to make space for the cross. He's dispossessed, though, and that's met by Antonio Conte throwing his hands up in the air in a frustrated fashion. But Pisa have made a mess of dealing with it. Napoli have won it straight back, but then Napoli run back into traffic, and eventually it's cleared upfield by Pisa. Able to be brought out of the sky by Buakima, and some safe possession once again for Napoli on their own back line. 0-0, we've played 12 minutes, and Napoli just starting to flex their muscles and exert their authority on the fixture here in Tuscany. No clear-cut chances as of yet. Only if Elmas coming closest for Napoli with a snapshot from the far post, which was well blocked by Angori. But it's certainly Napoli having the better of the football and just having to work hard for any sort of avenues of progression. And this is Alisson on the far side. Not back for Buongiorno. Elmas dropping deep to receive possession. Napoli still camped inside Pisa territory. Antonio Conte just told by the 4th official to get back into his technical area, as he was virtually on Pisa's defensive line, trying to urge his Napoli players to inspire some creativity to breach it. As Napoli still have possession in the midfield, Scott McTominay felt he was tugged back, and the referee agrees. It's going to be a free kick for Napoli in a crossing position on that far side. They look to play short. Højlund has to hold it up into the penalty area. He does that, offloads to McTominay, and it's slammed away to safety for a throw-in back there by Pisa. Well, Scott McTominay, no goals in 2 games for him. A dry spell by his standards that he's set himself in a Napoli jersey so far. 3 of his last 4 goals have come away from home, as Buema tries his luck from distance, and Bukema only finds the gloves of Adrian Semper. Very tame effort from the Dutch centre-half. Hasn't scored since February in a 2-1 defeat to Atalanta, and he's going to have to connect better than that to beat the Croatian shot-stopper for Pisa this afternoon. A snapshot audacious from 25-30 yards. Didn't get a hold of it, really. It was a routine save for the Pisa goalkeeper. Here he is again, though, the Dutch centre-half, bringing Napoli forward over halfway. Di Lorenzo down the right-hand side. Inside ball channel into the penalty area. Almas looks to squeeze it across. And that's deflected behind for another Napoli corner. Well, Napoli just beginning to find those pockets as the Pisa players determined to keep the 2025 champions at bay. This is Elmas, though. Corner taken short. Swings it in from the angle. Headed away back there by the Pisa back line. Bukema keeps it alive. This is Alisson looking to take on his defender, but he's dispossessed. Hasn't had much joy down that left-hand side so far. Alisson, the loan signing from Sporting, who of course have their Taça de Portugal final next Sunday. Here come Napoli again. Alisson square across the penalty area. Good defending in there by Pisa to prevent the Napoli players getting a touch on it towards goal. Elmas receives it on the right-hand side, rolls it back in field, stood up into the penalty area, and McTominay's header is well wide in the end. But Napoli edging closer and closer, but they've only been limited to half chances. Alisson will be frustrated that no one could get on his ball. His square ball from virtually the byline on that left-hand side. Højlund couldn't reach it. Di Lorenzo couldn't stretch either. A chance goes amiss for Napoli to break the deadlock. 0-0. But as expected, it's the side second in Serie A and seeking to secure Champions League football today that are well on top. Højlund fizzed into his feet by Di Lorenzo. He can't hold it, but Napoli do win the throw-in as Pisa, and more specifically Angori, can't prevent the throw-in from their left-back position, and so Napoli's pressure will endure. And Di Lorenzo holds the ball above his head, the Napoli captain, who did score on his return to action after a 4-month layoff with injury against Bologna. Ultimately, though, that stoppage time sucker punch subjecting Napoli to defeats. Just their 8th of the season. The ball at the feet of Alex Mere. McTominay takes it over halfway for Napoli as they come forward again down the left-hand side. Alisson looking to measure up Leris and take him for a run down the left. He squeezes the ball across as he keeps it in from the byline. It's hooked behind once again by Pisa, and Napoli are edging closer and closer, and Pisa's defending is looking less and less convincing on every Napoli attack. 0-0, but a flurry of corners in quick succession for the away side. It's going to be Alisson to swing this in from the far side. He takes it short, though, to Lobotka. Back to Alisson. Shifts it onto his right foot. Cute ball into the penalty area. Gathered, though, at his near post by Adrian Semper. Alisson, who's grown into the game, the Brazilian loanee from Sporting. 2 goals in his last 3 games against Bologna and Cremonese. 4 in total in 13 appearances since joining from Sporting in January. This is 4th start on the bounce, and it's taken him a while to grow into proceedings, but at the moment Mehdi Leris, the wing-back for Pisa, struggling to get to grips with the talented Brazilian on that far side. 18 minutes played, 0-0 at the Arena Garibaldi, where both of Pisa's victories have come this season. 10 of their 18 points have come here at home. And they have lost their last 3 here, but only by a 1-goal margin, which isn't something they were able to boast about earlier in the season when they were being turned over by 2 or 3 in successive games. So it's clear that Oscar Hiljemark has come in since February and somewhat shored things up despite the resignation to relegation. Here come Napoli again. Jeered on once again by Antonio Conte, right on the fringes of the touchline on that near side. This is Alisson taking over from the left-hand side, about 10 yards outside the penalty area. Alisson just working onto his left foot, twisting and turning, looking for an opening. Spinazzola takes over. Great skill to enter the penalty area. In steps Canestrelli, though, to hoist the ball away for a throw-in. Napoli take that throw-in quickly. Duerkima rolls it back in field to the heart of that back 3 for Napoli. Rahmani. Alisson again looks to take Leris for a run down the far side. Leris, though, sticks to task, sticks out a leg and concedes the throw-in. There's always such a sharp intake of breath every time Alisson looks to stand up his fullback. I don't think he knows what he's going to do half the time, let alone his opposite number. Napoli have the ball on halfway. McTominay, space to turn for the Scotsman. Out towards Spinazzola. Checks in field. Right-footed ball into the penalty area. Too close to Semper, though, who makes the catch. There seems to be a routine, though. Napoli get into good positions, produce the ball into the penalty area. But it's always too close to the Croatian goalkeeper, who can more often than not just make it his. But his distribution is poor on this occasion. He's thrown it straight out of play and just invited Napoli to come forward again, which they do through McTominay. This is Lobotka, found square, 10 yards outside the penalty area. McTominay's effort in off the post, and Napoli have the breakthrough. Pisa's resolve lasting all of 20 minutes, and Scott McTominay gets himself back on the score sheet. It's an assured finish from the Scotsman. Well, Napoli were edging closer and closer as they grew into the game, and you felt the opening goal was only going to go one way, and Scott McTominay has provided it for Napoli. It's such an assured finish from the edge of the penalty area. First time on his right boot, just curled it inside the far post. A kiss off the woodwork for good measure. But Scott McTominay takes his total to 14 for the season, and Napoli, they've had to work hard for this breakthrough, but they finally get on the score sheet. It's Pisa 0, Napoli 1, and Scott McTominay delivering for Napoli once again. Lovely layoff by Rasmus Højlund. It was fizzed into his feet by Lobotka. And the first time finish from Scott McTominay after it was laid off by Rasmus Højlund was too cute for Semper, who couldn't make the ground up to his left-hand side. And Napoli have the all-important breakthrough that they were looking for. Pisa, though, what's the reply like from them? A ball into the penalty area from the far side is hoisted away by Elmas back there. Well, Scott McTominay, no goal in 2 games before today, which was a dry spell by his standards, but he's got himself back on the score sheet. That's now 4 of his last 5 goals coming away from Naples. $13 helped Napoli to the title last time out. He's beaten that tally. And here come Pisa in response. They've been pegged back for the best part of 20 minutes. And you have to give them credit for their resolve and organisation and gumption in looking to repel every single Napoli attack that's come their way. But it's a really high quality finish from Scott McTominay that's given Napoli the all-important lead in Tuscany. Well, he's really seen a renaissance, hasn't he, the Scotsman, since moving from Manchester United. One of the many players to leave the cauldron of Old Trafford and just get themselves out of the spotlight that was looming over that particular part of Manchester, along with, of course, Rasmus Højlund. And, you can see as well with the social media stories and news stories that he's really enjoying his time here in Italy, Scott McTominay. And his numbers justify that as well. ...27 goals now in 2 seasons for Napoli. He's become a bit of a specialist from that deep-lying centre midfield position. But here come Pisa on the attack as they make their way up to the edge of the Napoli penalty area. There's too many defenders in the way, though, as they look to thread the ball through towards Moreo. And it's dealt with by Napoli. And then Alisson could win himself a free kick off of Calabresi. And Napoli will have the dead ball situation in their left-back position. As we just take another look at the goal. A fizz ball into the feet of Rasmus Højlund. It's a lovely layoff for Scott McTominay. Allows him to just run onto it and whip the ball with the instep of his right foot. A kiss off the post for good measure. Semper was rooted to the spot in the Pisa goal. It's a finish of real quality from the Scottish international as Napoli come forward again. That's cut out back there by, though, Mehdi Leris. And Calabresi can just put his boot through it from inside the Pisa penalty area. Well, the bad news for Pisa is that Napoli have conceded just 1 goal in their last 3 away games. And they've only lost to Juventus and Atalanta away from Naples in 2026. And when you look at Pisa's goal-scoring record, or lack thereof, this season, it already looks like an almighty mountain to climb for the side, rock bottom of Serie A following that early goal. And now Elmas has won the ball back inside Pisa territory for Napoli. And this is Alisson looking for space on his right foot. Lets fly. It was struck with plenty of venom. And it's took a deflection on its way through, which has taken it over the crossbar, and it's going to be a Napoli corner. They just look such a threat every time they come forward, Napoli. And Alisson really growing into the game now and showing exactly what he can do. Just purchased some yards on his right foot on the edge of the penalty area. Struck with plenty of menace and venom, and it took a nick on its way through. It took it over Semper's crossbar. It's going to be a Napoli corner. Elmas has come across to take it. The red-booted North Macedonian international. Right-footed ball into the penalty area. Met by a Napoli head and has it crossed the line. All eyes on the referee as Semper got down. But the goal is given. And Amir Rahmani celebrates it. The centre-half for Napoli heads home the second. And the man from Kosovo sees Napoli tighten their grip on second spot in Serie A. 2 goals in 6 minutes may well have already taken this game away from Pisa, who are rooted rock bottom of Serie A. And Napoli's quest to put themselves into Europe's elite next season is off to the perfect start midway inside the first half. A beautiful delivery by Elmas. Amir Rahmani rose above all in the penalty area. And despite Semper's efforts to keep it in over the goal line, it did cross the line and nestle in the side netting. And Napoli, with 2 goals in 6 minutes, exert their authority here in Tuscany. Pisa 0, Napoli 2. Well, Amir Rahmani is his 2nd goal of the campaign, his 1st goal since January. And he had an almighty leap there to meet Elmas's corner. And Semper did all he could. The Pisa players thought their goalkeeper had prevented it from crossing the line, but a look at the watch from the referee, and he awarded the goal. And so McTominay and Rahmani in the space of 6 minutes have made Napoli's dominance reflect so on the scoreline. Half an hour played, Napoli lead by 2 goals to 0. And now you fear for Pisa that this could really turn into a bit of a cricket score. Alisson coming forward again, keeping his footing towards the byline, but he's overrun the ball. And it's behind for a goal kick. That's 68 league goals now conceded for Pisa in 37 games. And already staring in the face what would be an 8th game on the bounce where they've conceded defeat. And Caracciolo just feeling the effects of that tussle with Alisson as they both went to ground. As he gets back to the turf, feeling his shoulder, seems to be okay to carry on, but you feel it's going to be a long afternoon already for that Pisa back line, and those defenders are going to put through the ringer in this Tuscan sunshine as Scott McTominay is caught by Abishir. Here is Napoli on their own back line. Well, Pisa still need to go to Lazio on the final day before they can turn their attention to preparations in the second tier to get themselves straight back up. Helmas coming forward meanwhile for Napoli down the right hand side. And further bad news for Pisa is that when scoring first, Napoli have won 18 of the 19 games where they've grabbed the first goal. And really, you only see one outcome from now until the end of the game as Alisson bursts forward down the left-hand side again. His square ball across the penalty area, defended by Pisa. Only 4 of their 12 defeats have come by 2 or more goals at home, Pisa. They haven't been one for being turned over on their own ground, but Napoli are looking to change that narrative in what is Pisa's final home game. They've got 15 minutes of this first half to go, and Napoli coming forward again, looking to pick holes in that Pisa back line. They lead by 2-0 courtesy of Scott McTominay's cute finish from the edge of the penalty area, followed up by Amir Rahmani's powerful header minutes later. So Pisa have a throw-in just over halfway as they look to just restore some pride and make some inroads. They've barely been inside the Napoli penalty area. It's flicked on towards Stojakovic, and he can't keep the ball in play. The linesman's flag indicates that it's going to be a goal kick. January signing from Polish side Cracovia. No goals in 11 games for Filip Stojakovic, the Swiss forward. Plenty of food for thought for the Pisa chairman, who is in our pictures. It's been an almightily tough 2 decades or so for Pisa. Financial problems, issues off the pitch has seen them resigned all the way down to as low as the 4th tier of Italian football. So the promotion last time out to Serie A, really a milestone for them, but hasn't been met with the quality or investment needed to keep them in Serie A with the quality that is littered throughout Italy's top league now. And here is going to be a real test. 2-0 down inside the opening 26 minutes and still have the majority of the game to go against the side who need to win today to secure Champions League football, and will want to restore a bit of pride themselves after having surrendering the Serie A title to Inter Milan at the start of the month. Something Antonio Conte wouldn't have taken lightly, the 5-time Serie A winner. A man who's won Serie B, of course, in his early managerial career, Antonio Conte. So knows what it's like to be in Pisa's shoes. just taken the foot off the gas since that second goal. Napoli hasn't been as relentless in attack as Simone Canestrelli takes the throw in the left-back position for Pisa. This is Moreo, bit of space in the midfield. It's taken off his toe, though, by a resurgent Lobotka, as flicker of joy is stolen away from Pisa just before it could get started. And Napoli will have safe possession now on their halfway line. Taken into the Pisa half by Rahmani, the scorer of the second goal, completing his 6th campaign with Napoli. His 2026, though, Kosovo international, hindered with injury. This just his 7th appearance since the turn of the year. But he's marked it with his second goal of the campaign, his first goal since January after making a milestone 200th appearance against Bologna in the last game. As an attack breaks down for Napoli down the right-hand side, and our monitors just having another look at the goal decision system. Yeah, well over the line. No doubt about it, before Adrian Semper could make efforts in vain to rescue the situation. The header from Amir Rahmani, which made it 2-0 to Napoli and put themselves in a position of real authority here in the Tuscany sunshine. Napoli coming forward down the left-hand side again. This is McTominay, receives the ball off Alisson, invites Buakema to surge forward just on the periphery of the Pisa penalty area. Hoisted away by the home side. Now a breakaway could be on. They're away down the left-hand side, driving them forward down the touchline. Into Stojakovic. Bisicha is dispossessed by Spinazzola, and Pisa are going to have a throw-in level with the edge of the Napoli penalty area. So a chance now from this dead ball situation to just cause some chaos in the Napoli penalty area for the first time in the game. Canestrelli, in it goes, headed away by Scott McTominay back there, the scorer of the opening goal. Whipped back in for Pisa and blazed over the bar by Stojakovic. Pisa's first opening of the game, wasted by the Swiss striker. It was a decent reload into the penalty area by Angori. Difficult skill for the Swiss forward. Back to goal, had to take it first time and saw it sent high over the crossbar. So McTominay takes it up to halfway. Well, good news for Napoli is that Fiorentina have taken the lead against Juventus. So Juventus, who are Napoli's closest competitors, trailing to Fiorentina, who have made themselves safe from any threat of relegation and are now having a say at the top of the Serie A table. Of course, a win here would guarantee Champions League football for Napoli, but with how the pots work in the Champions League formats, you do want to finish as high as possible, so that's the incentive for Napoli this afternoon, and they've made the best possible start. They lead comfortably by 2-0 against Pisa. And I have to say, it's a good job it's sunny, because Alex Mere otherwise would have had a problem keeping himself warm in the Napoli net. He hasn't had anything to do at all. Meanwhile, down the other end, Højlund's on the move inside the Pisa penalty area. Can't escape the clutches of Calabresi, who deals with him well. And then Pisa hoist the ball forward, but back it comes. And onto this is Elmas. Brilliant attempt. It's a brilliant save by Adrian Semper. Well, Pisa thought they'd been enough to clear the danger. It was just a hoisted ball back from the halfway line for Napoli that was flicked on, and Elmas was onto it in a flash. It was an almighty effort on the half volley from inside the penalty area, destined for the roof of the net, but Semper threw out a left hand and palms it over the crossbar. It's a brilliant save from the Pisa goalkeeper. Elmas surely thought he'd made it 3 to the good for Napoli. Well, the North Macedonian international has taken himself across to take this corner. Right-footed, hanging in the air, and that allows Semper to come out and claim in the light blue goalkeeping strip for Pisa. Elmas making his first start since March. Only the 1 goal this season for him. Handful of assists. And it was a great technique to strike the ball with the outside of his right boot. Equally, Adrian Semper with probably one of his saves of the season, it has to say, from close range to keep that out with the menace and venom it was struck with. Napoli escape a tight cul-de-sac at the back. Some intricate triangles being played to escape a tight corner. Then McTominay, lovely roulette to evade 5 Pisa players. Great skill from the Scotsman to find Alisson down the left-hand side. Alisson scampering forward down the touchline. Body's in the middle if he can forge across. He can, but Matteo Hoyt gets himself in the way to block for Pisa. Lovely passage of play, first by McTominay, and then the pace shown by Alisson to scamper away from the Pisa defenders. And then Moreo is fouled on halfway by a towering Buongiorno. And so Pisa will get some reprieve with a free kick on the halfway line. 2-0 then Napoli lead, and very much in cruise control here. Pisa squeezed the ball down the left-hand side. And Buakima got there first, ahead of the marauding Canestrelli from centre-half. Canestrelli, though, just leaving a bit of a mark on Buakima, centre-half on centre-half. Buakima's down on the deck, but I think he'll be all right. As I'm going to look at this great skill from Scott McTominay. The double pirouette to escape a cluster of challenges. McTominay did feel his left foot after putting Napoli ahead after a challenge that came in as he took the shot that gave Napoli the 1-0 lead, and he's just feeling it again on this stoppage in play. Seems to be okay though, hopefully not a long-lasting thing for Scott McTominay, and with half time round the corner he can get into the change room and assess it a bit more at the break. We've got 4 minutes to go until half time. Goals from McTominay and Amir Romani in the space of 6 minutes has very much put Napoli in the box seat here in Tuscan sunshine as they come forward again. Whipped across to Spinazzola. This is Alisson on the far side. Alisson thought about taking on Leris and then knocks it back towards halfway. This is Romani now, the scorer of the second goal for Napoli. Across it goes square to Buakima. Back it goes to Romani, which invites Pisa forward slightly and opens some space for Napoli to operate in. And they brought it forward through Spinazzola. Alisson rides the challenge of Leris and is away down the left-hand side. Into the penalty area goes. Cute ball across the face of goal. Pisa can hoist it away. Leris and now can carry it forward for the home side. Great skill and determination to get away from Spinazzola. And he's found Stojakovic. And for the first time, Pisa can get on the ball on halfway due to the hard work and determination through Mehdi Leris. Safe possession now for Pisa, which isn't something we've said often in this first half. They trailed by 2-0, but are still showing plenty of fight and endeavour. Sent forward by Canestrelli for the home side. Dealt with by Napoli as they head it forward. This is Lobotka onto this, hoisting into Højlund, who's surely going to be offside. Yeah, the flag does go up. Roma are beating Lazio by 1-0. They've taken the lead, the capital side, so they leapfrog Juventus into third in Serie A as things stand. Milan and Como is 0-0. Juventus still trailing to Fiorentina. So Napoli, as it stands, on 73, Still 12 points behind Inter, the champions, but in a position of real authority if they can hold on to this going into the final day. This is Hoyholt for Pisa. Canestrelli at the back for the home side. Hoyholt chased down by Rasmus Højlund. Pisa go long, brought down by Buongiorno. And clipped forward by the Napoli backline up towards Rasmus Højlund. Over his head, a bit of an exasperated look to his fellow teammates Højlund. He feels he isn't getting the service necessary to be really effective this afternoon so far. He has picked up an assist though. Teed up McTominay for that cute finish from the Scotsman. Pisa explore options down the right-hand side. This is Medeiros, the Algerian wing-back. He's brought down, felt he was fouled by Spinazzola. Referee tells him to get back to his feet and allows Napoli to play on with the ball. Elmas. Di Lorenzo on this near side, the right, taking on Angori. Elmas arrives as an option between the touchline and the penalty area. Elmas still rolls it back to Buakima. Elmas crossing position for the North Macedonian international. Instead rolls it back to the goal scorer Romani. Buakima, patient build up by Napoli. Is there an end result? Fizzed into the penalty area by Buakima, but it's beyond Højlund and hoisted away back there by the goalkeeper Adrian Semper. And Napoli from that clearance can bring it down on halfway. Just the 1 minute of added time as McTominay slips as he plays the ball across to Buakema. Seems to be okay though, Scott McTominay, as Napoli are forced all the way back to their goalkeeper Alex Meretz. This is Elif Elmas, who had a stinging volley, well saved by Adrian Semper to keep the score at just 2. Well, there was times in that first half when Napoli were well on top after their 2 goals that they threatened to make it a bit of a cricket score before half-time, but Pisa have reorganised and held their own. Of course, Napoli, I'm sure, would have taken their foot off the gas slightly as the sun continues to beat down in Tuscany. This is Alisson skipping in field, wanting to get it on his right foot for an effort at goal. In the end, he overruns the ball and is dispossessed. And then Pisa have an out ball to Moreo. Infield it goes to Akinsamiro. Murillo then across the penalty area. It's not cleared by Napoli, and it's well saved by Alex Meret to deny Stojakovic point blank range. Well, it's the first thing that the Napoli goalkeeper has been called into action. The first time he's really had to show his worth this afternoon, and he comes up with the goods. A point blank save to deny the Swiss forward and deny Pisa a route back into things. And right before half time, that save could prove crucial in the dynamic of the contest. Well, it's the only time that Pisa have been able to forge a meaningful breakaway. Stefano Moreo it was, the architect. Alessandro Buongiorno missed his touch to deal with the danger, but Stojakovic couldn't beat Meret, and so at half-time it remains Pisa 0, Napoli 2. 2 goals in quick succession halfway into the first half by McTominay and then by Amir Romani. Sees Napoli have 1 foot in the Champions League places for next season. Well, both teams back out ahead of the second half. What is a beautiful day in Tuscany, and things going exactly to plan as far as Napoli are concerned in what is Antonio Conte's 90th game in charge of the side from Naples. They are 2-0 up and cruising very much in the box seat and in cruise control. Goals from Scott McTominay and Amir Rahmani in that first half. Very much, it seems, already putting the game beyond Pisa, who, to their credit, have been robust, have shown gusto and resilience in the face of adversity. They know they're on their way down. They know the odds have been stacked against them today. And as far as the script has been written, it's very much going according to how we expected. But Pisa did have a glimmer of hope at the end of the first half through Filip Stojakovic, but he couldn't take the chance against Alex Meret, so it remains Pisa 0, Napoli 2 ahead of this second half, which is just seconds away from getting underway in the beautiful Tuscany sunshine. A few of the crowd having their shirts removed, as is the scorching temperatures here in Tuscany. And it will be Napoli to kick off in their white shirts. Pisa, of course, in their black and blue stripes, blue shorts and black socks. It is Napoli kicking from right to left here at the Arena Garibaldi. They lead by 2-0 and in a position of relative comfort and very much dominated large periods of that first half. It's actually were on the score lines as I read them out in the first half. So Napoli move to within 5 points. Roma moved to within 5 points of Napoli, and Juventus still trail to Fiorentina. So you feel a third goal, if it does go to Napoli, will wrap things up here at the Arena Garibaldi. If Pisa can somehow pierce this Napoli back line, you feel that will really put the cat amongst the pigeons, especially on the nervy run that Napoli have been on. Just 2 wins in their last 6, 1 in their last 5. They come into this one 2 games without a win, and Pisa with very much nothing to lose at this stage. The handbrake can fully come off. But Napoli seeking a ball down the right hand side. Early it goes by Rahmani, looking for Elif Elmas, who was certainly a man of mischief in that first period, causing a plethora of problems for Pisa down their left hand side. Had a scorching volley, well saved by Adrian Semper from close range. And here come Pisa over halfway for the first time in this second half. But Filip Stojakovic concedes the free kick against Lobotka, and Napoli get on with it pretty promptly with Scott McTominay. I'll take you through the 2-11s in just a moment, because Napoli are on the attack down the centre. This is McTominay out to the left hand side for Alisson. He was certainly a live wire, the Brazilian on loan from Sporting in that first period. This is Buongiorno, the left-sided centre half of a back three of Napoli that were seldom tested in that first half. Pisa just squeezing them now as they look to plough out from the back. So for Pisa then, Semper in goal, who didn't do too much wrong for the 2 goals and produced a decent save against Elmas in that first half. Canestrelli, Caracciolo, the captain, and Calabresi at the back for Pisa. Leris and Angori, Hojholt, A. Bashir and Akin San Miro, and then Stojakovic, who had that great chance at the end of the first half, well saved by Alex Meret, alongside Stefano Murillo. And actually there's a miscue at the back by Alessandro Buongiorno for Napoli, and it's given Pisa a throw-in on this right-hand side. It's an opportunity to launch the ball into the penalty area for Canestrelli. In it goes looping, nodded away by McTominay and helped further away from danger by Lobotka. And now Højlund can look to mount something of a counter-attack, but that's cut out by the Pisa midfield. And here comes Canestrelli to hoist it back forward down the left-hand side for Pisa, and then Napoli, they'll have it at the back. But they concede the throw-in off of Lobotka with a misplaced pass. He's claiming that the final touch came off the Pisa man who challenged him, the Croatian, but it's going to be a Pisa throw, and another chance for Canestrelli to launch this into the penalty area and ask some questions of this Napoli backline early on in the second half. We played 3.5 minutes of it. In it goes. Once again, McTominay's up to head away. Kept alive. Flushed towards goal, and it forced the save out of Alex Meret. Reloaded into the penalty area. It's blocked at the expense of a corner back there for Napoli. Well, it was a thunderous effort from the edge of the penalty area. Napoli didn't deal with the throw-in as convincingly as they thought they would. Stefano Moreo it was on the turn, forcing the save out of Alex Meret. An impressive stop it was, and one that he had to make in the face of a menacing volley from Pisa's top goal scorer. Their first corner of the game, looped in. The header comes in from Leris, but it's over the bar from the Pisa man. So Pisa, though, just having a go and coming out swinging at the start of this second half. A thunderous volley on the spin by Moreo as we have another look at it on our monitors. A decent save from Alex Meret in the Napoli goal. Well, after being largely untested for about 44 minutes, 45 minutes, and then pulling out a decent stop in stoppage time of the first half, he's once again been called into action early in the second, the Pisa shot stopper. Højlund on the move in behind. He's been found down the right-hand side of the penalty area, but there goes the flag against the Danish forward, who, of course, didn't get the rub of the green at Man United. Despite the 26 goals in 95 games he scored for them, has enjoyed something of a decent campaign here at Napoli. 13 goals in all competitions, 10 of them coming in Serie A. Still has plenty of years ahead of him. Rasmus Højlund, of course, went to Manchester United for an almighty price tag. Atalanta. Back in Italy as Spinazzola has left Mehdi Leris on the deck with one that stings after coming together, and that's all the referee sees that it was, a coming together. So it is going to be a Napoli throw-in right in front of Antonio Conte, who of course won his 5th Serie A title in last season's Serie A race. Had to surrender it to his former club Inter this time around. Well, I should go through the Napoli 11 as they're on the attack here, but Højlund asked to hold it up on the edge of the penalty area, which he does. Attempted cross from the far side from Di Lorenzo, doesn't get very far, and it's Pisa who are able to scramble the ball away. So Alex Meret in goal, who's already been called into action in this second half. Buakema, Romani and Buongiorno, and there's just some tempers flaring here as I'm going through the 11. Elif Elmas has taken issue with something that happened in the build-up of that recent Napoli move, and the goalkeeper for Pisa, Adrian Semper, has had to come and play peacemaker to calm the North Macedonian down. Antonio Conte has recognised something amiss as well, and it's Elmas who's having to be escorted away by his teammate McTominay. Let's have another look at the replay. So it's fizzed into Højlund's feet. Elmas looked to go beyond him into the penalty area, and he was just being manhandled there by Arturo Calabresi as Di Lorenzo's cross was coming into the penalty area, and he didn't like that one bit, did he? Well, there wasn't anything too menacing in it. It was just a bit of manhandling by the centre half, ensuring that Elmas didn't get beyond him. I'm not sure if something's been said that's caused the reaction from Elmas, but the referee just having a word with Calabresi now and telling him to keep his head, and the yellow card is shown to Calabresi and Elmas for their equal parts in causing that ruckus. So to complete the Napoli 11, Buakema, Romani the goal scorer, and Buongiorno at the back. Di Lorenzo and Spinazzola, Lobotka and McTominay the goal scorer, Elmas, Højlund and Alisson. Elmas now on a needless, you would argue, yellow card. You can just see his teammates there, especially Stanislav Lobotka, just telling him to keep his head. And he's replying to him saying, absolutely no problem. I'm happy to do that, but happy to do that now with a yellow card to his name. So 10 minutes played in the second half. Napoli still leading Pisa by 2-0, courtesy of the double inside 6 minutes in that first half. Well, Milan have taken the lead against Genoa, so they move up into third, 3 points behind Napoli, along with Roma. Champions League places hotting up on this, the penultimate lunchtime of Serie A. This is Buongiorno looking to thread the ball through. It's cut out by Højholt. Squeezed down the right-hand side by Pisa, but runs out of room, and the ball finds its way out of play as it's aimed towards a Bashir by Mehdi Leris, and they just gift the ball straight back to Napoli. This is McTominay, who's recovered from that slight knock he suffered late in the first half. Rolls it in field to Romani, the 2 goal scorers trading passes. Bit of a loose ball back from Elmas, forces Napoli back a few yards towards the edge of their own penalty area, but they still have safe possession. Alessandro Buongiorno bringing it forward to halfway, rolls it in field to Lobotka. And Lobotka can spray it out to that far side where Buakema's waiting. McTominay. Pisa still resolute, still robust, and still determined to make their fans proud here inside the Arena Garibaldi, standing strong in the face of adversity, in the face of this Napoli side sprinkled with so much attacking talent. Elmas measuring a ball into the right channel for Højlund to give chase. Across comes Caracciolo to hoist the ball, only half clear. It's picked back up by the white shirts of Napoli. Good footwork by McTominay to evade the challenge that came in from Akin San Mairo. And Pisa can clear the ball away. Picked up by Buongiorno. On halfway now for Napoli. Di Lorenzo on the far side. Rolls it back in field. Buakema. This is McTominay. Di Lorenzo. Faced by blue and black striped shirts. Forced all the way back. And Napoli go all the way back to Meret. And it wasn't the best pass back to the goalkeeper in his all orange strip. Had to work overtime to reach it before Stefano Morio did for Pisa. But they found the way to Alisson, who can now have a run at Leris down the left-hand side. Rolls it in field to Lobotka. Square it goes to Elmas. Helps it further to the right-hand side for Di Lorenzo. Measure ball into the penalty area. Evades everyone inside the box. And goes behind for a goal kick. It was a decent ball in by the captain. Measured and delicate and floated. But just too high for everyone in the middle. And the Napoli attack breaks down. But it was a well-worked move by the side second in Serie A. Thumped forward by Semper. Just over halfway, flicked on by Højholt, brought down by Rahmani. This is Buakema now. Square it goes to Buongiorno. Buongiorno again, gets it back from Spinazzola. Napoli just purring, just happy to have possession. And then when the avenues appear, they look to break through them as they do now. Højlund on the move, but he's eased off the ball. And of course, Napoli finish the season in Naples next week. Udinese their opponents as they just look to consolidate second place and finish as best they can. And here comes Kevin De Bruyne. Not involved in the 11 today, but is going to be the first Napoli change off the bench. He will replace Elif Elmas. So Kevin De Bruyne, who was absent for the defeat against Bologna, recovering from an eye injury. He's back in the fold, and the second change is going to be Matthias Oliveira, and he will replace Alessandro Buongiorno. So a change at the back and a change in attack for Napoli, as Antonio Conte, I'm sure, as well as looking to share the minutes around in the dying embers of this season, is also just looking for a bit of fresh legs and a bit of inventive nature, especially with Kevin De Bruyne, who is still getting back to full fitness. He missed the best part of October to March with a thigh injury which kept him out for 5 months. He was a big miss for Napoli during that time, and of course, absent from the defeat against Bologna with an eye injury that he was recovering from. 5 goals and 1 assist for Napoli this season after joining from Manchester City after a decade there. And it's a glistening career for the Belgian, though. 421 goal contributions in 666 appearances. So Pisa are going to make two changes as well. Stojakovic is going to make way after he will feel he should have made an impact on the score sheet and got Pisa back into things at the end of the first half. It was a massive chance that was denied by the goalkeeper. He's replaced by Miesta. And Akin San Mairo is replaced by Piccinini in midfield. So an attacking change and one in the middle of the park as well for Pisa. So Henrik Meister is on in attack to look to support the effort with Moreo. And Gabriel Piccinini is on as well. So 2 changes apiece and we're back underway, and this is Spinazzola being manhandled back there by Calabresi, who has to be careful because he's on a yellow card. It wasn't very covert, that challenge. And Napoli take the free kick quickly. This is Alisson down the left-hand side, taking Leris for a run again. He's beyond him. He looks to pull back from the byline, but in comes Calabresi. No-nonsense challenge, sees the ball behind for a corner. Napoli's first of this second half. It's taken them a quarter of an hour to get it. And Alisson, the first glimpse of him in this second period after he had an almighty contribution in that first period. He's going to pick himself up from that Calabresi challenge to take this corner. From this near side, the Napoli left. It's going to be a right-footed in-swinger towards that far post. Semper got up and Semper made the claim. This is a Bashir Huijholtz in the midfield for Pisa. Now on the back line into their own penalty area. Rolls it back to Semper. Still those 2 first half goals in the space of 6 minutes. McTominay and Romani separating these two sides. As Huijholtz spins away from Kevin De Bruyne in the midfield. De Bruyne goes in the chase now towards the Pisa fullback and Gori, who steers it towards the edge of the Napoli penalty area. It's cut out though, and here comes McTominay forward. McTominay surging over halfway, holding off the advances of the Pisa midfielders. This is Kevin De Bruyne, looks to return the favour to McTominay, who had continued his run forward, but it's overcooked by the Belgian playmaker and behind for a goal kick. Well, Kevin De Bruyne grabbed the goal and an assist against Cremonese 2 games ago in what was Napoli's last win before no win in 2. 6-time Premier League winner, 2-time FA Cup winner, 5 League Cups, a Champions League, 4-time Manchester City Player of the Seasons, FIFA World 11 5 times. It's been a career littered with achievements for Kevin De Bruyne, and he has been a big miss for Napoli in what was a crucial part of the season for them, where they just lost a bit of momentum in chasing down Inter in Kevin De Bruyne's absence. As Napoli have the ball at the back, Spinazzola's lost it. Pisa hounding the Italian wing-back, winning back possession, but their advances forward, well mopped up back there by Napoli, who are able to congregate on the ball and wrestle back possession. Scott McTominay's just taken up a bit of a deeper role since the introduction of Kevin De Bruyne, and he's on the ball a lot more. And here he is again on the ball, the Scotsman. Just sends it back to Rahmani. This is the substitute Matheus Oliveira. Out towards Alisson. Back in field it goes, and Napoli just head across their own back line. De Bruyne. Well taken by Rahmani to open up some space, and then pings it out towards this near side, the left. Too high for Alisson, he can't do anything with it. And it's going to be a Pisa throw-in. Alisson, whose influence on the game has just waned somewhat. The tricky Brazilian. Just as I'm sure Napoli have taken their foot off the gas as well in correlation with it. Calabresi sends the ball down the line. Big collision in the centre of the field. Bashir just leaving a chunk on the Napoli man, who goes down in a heap, Matheus Oliveira. But thankfully back to his feet, because that looked like it could be a nasty one. You know, two players travelling in separate directions, and when they collide it does look almightily savage. Thankfully both have managed to walk away from the situation intact. And Napoli have the free kick, which they take quickly. Oliveira. Alisson on this near side. A slip by Leres allows Alisson to just drag his studs over the ball and then go back into his own half and find Rahmani. And then on the far side is Bukema, the Dutch centre-half. Rolls it back to the goalkeeper, Meret. That allows Pisa to step forward in their press, but Spinazzola has it on this near side for Napoli. Lobotka hurried by Miesta. And then Alisson with a good feint. A good change of direction to work his way up to halfway, and Pisa's press is played through by Napoli. This is McTominay just over halfway. Rolls it out to the far side for Di Lorenzo, then De Bruyne. Oliveira now. Surging down the left-hand side, he wins the throw-in. And plenty of tired Pisa bodies out there now as we tick up to the final 20 minutes or so. They've worked extremely hard to prevent this becoming a cricket score, which is what Napoli were threatening at times in that first half. Napoli have really brought the game more to a bit of a pedestrian pace, but still with a swagger of authority and all but dominating the possession stats. And it's really good work by Kevin De Bruyne to find Spinazzola on this near side. He can work his way up to the edge of the Pisa penalty area, held up though on the edge of the box, and has to find refuge in Oliveira behind him. De Bruyne just playing in that pocket of creativity, looking to inspire something, inspire Napoli to a third goal, which would really knock any resolve that still remains in this Pisa side out of them. Lobotka offloads to De Bruyne, just looking to work his magic from the central position. McTominay, edge of the penalty area. Di Lorenzo on the right-hand side, between the box and the touchline. Now De Bruyne, measured ball into the penalty area, and the header's off target by Scott McTominay. Well, Kevin De Bruyne has just brought an increase in tempo onto the pitch with him. He manages to find space and find balls where no one else can. Touch out of his feet on the far side. Delicious ball into McTominay, who just couldn't stretch enough to get that ball on target, and he sends it wide in the end. And he just makes the game look so easy, Kevin De Bruyne, every time you watch him. Alisson looking to steal in, but Calabresi got there first, and then Pisa look forward with a long ball. It's headed more up than out by Oliveira, and then back comes Lobotka to rescue the situation. A Pisa man has gone down in the middle of the field, needing medical attention, so the referee stops the game for a second. Samuel Angori it is. Oh no, it's Stefano Moreo. And if Pisa stand any sort of chance of finding a breakthrough here, they'll want to keep him on the field, their top goal scorer. 6 goals this season, but in a side that goal scoring has been a rarity. They are big numbers. And he's already stung the palms of Alex Meret in this second half as well. It was just as he came down from winning a header, Stefano Moreo. He might have just jarred something. Looks like his knee or his lower calf of his right leg. But that allows Juan Cuadrado to be summoned from the bench. The 6-time Serie A winner, 1-time Premier League winner with Chelsea. And as well as him, we're going to see Idrissa Touré as well. Well, it's going to be a triple change for Pisa. So get your pen and pencils out. So Cuadrado's coming on, Touré's coming on, and Isaac Vural as well is going to be introduced for Pisa. Stefano Moreo will be one of those making way, as is Arturo Calabresi. And Mehdi Leris is the final man to make way for Juan Cuadrado, who will fill in at right back. A man who's been there and seen it all, Juan Cuadrado, 37 years of age. He's been around a while. And he's certainly been around the block. Just a Touré, one of the changes heading into this one as well, a fullback in his own right. And Isaac Vural is on for Stefan Moreo. So a host of changes made by Pisa, who through their endeavour and effort have kept this respectable. Fair credit to them, the side already relegated from Serie A. And some fresh legs just looking to consolidate that. But De Bruyne has been found on the right-hand side. Dangerous position. His cross flashes across the face of goal and finds Alisson. Alisson on this left-hand side, looking to jinx his way past Cuadrado. New type of opponent for him now to take on Alisson and the experienced Colombian Juan Cuadrado. This is Rahmani. Sends it across to the far side. So the triple change for Pisa sees them utilise the rest of their remaining substitutions. This is Rahmani. Sent across to that far side for Di Lorenzo. And Di Lorenzo sends it back to the Napoli back line. Roma have taken a 2-0 lead now against Lazio to look to secure themselves right amongst it going into the final day. Juventus have pulled one back against Fiorentina as they look to mount a comeback and likewise keep themselves right in amongst it. Milan still lead Genoa by a 1-0. So they're all piling up behind Napoli, who are holding up their end of the bargain here in Pisa, in Tuscany so far. They lead by 2-0. 2 first half goals from McTominay and Amir Rahmani. This is Oliveira. Square into the centre for Rahmani. Oliveira over halfway. Searching ball, looking for the feet of Rasmus Højlund. Cut out by Mathieu Højholt, who sends it down the right-hand side, searching for the two strikers. But Napoli able to tidy things up amongst them and shepherd it behind for a goal kick. Just over 15 minutes to go here in the Tuscany sunshine. And Pisa will they be made to rue those two really decent opportunities that they've had, the only two decent opportunities they've had in the game. The volley from Moreira, which was well saved by Meret, but it was the one at the end of the first half for Filip Stojakovic. It's the one that really stands in your mind as a route back into things. Oh, Meret's taken a chance and he's been charged down by Michel Bashir and has to take evasive action and pop the ball straight out of play on that far side. Well, a risk that he didn't need to take, the Napoli goalkeeper, and suddenly his side now under pressure with the throw-in. It's going to be launched and torpedoed into that penalty area from the far side. Headed away though back there for Napoli. Højlund looks to flick it on. De Bruyne's on the charge, but Cuadrado gets there before him, and then Højlund can help tidy things up for the home side. And well, players had to be stopped because Canestrelli has some blood rushing from his nose. And so the referee just wants to make sure he's okay, and we might need a change of jersey here as well, as the ball struck him in the face. He's pleading he's okay to continue, but obviously the referee following the laws of the game. So 15 minutes to go here in Tuscany. Antonio Conte's side, as they have been since the 20th minute when Scott McTominay found the corner, well in the driving seat. Still a boisterous atmosphere though here inside the Arena Garibaldi. As Pisa fans have turned out in their numbers despite their fate, despite knowing that Serie B is destined for them next season. It'll be a big campaign for them to look to get back to the top tier next time out. As De Bruyne wins a throw-in on that far side for Napoli. Happy to do the dirty work as well, the Belgian. He receives a throw-in as well from Di Lorenzo. Di Lorenzo looking to take on Rugal on that far side. This is Spinazzola. Hoists it back to the Napoli back line. This is Bukema. McTominay can receive the ball in the midfield and turn away from the advancements of the Pisa opposition players. De Bruyne just linking things up now for Napoli. They're just over halfway. Spinazzola on the left hand side, faced by Juan Cuadrado and forced all the way back into his own half as well. This is Rahmani. McTominay receives the ball in space, fizzes a ball into the feet of Rasmus Højlund. It's a great first touch to take him beyond the defenders, but he's just shown too much of that to Adrian Semper, who can come out and dive at the feet of the big Dane and make that ball his. This is Cuadrado, the 37-year-old Colombian, searching ball down the right-hand side, finds Mesta. Cuadrado, switch of play over to the far side where Angori is waiting. Angori back in field to Vural. Cuadrado again, playing that inverted full-back role and getting very much involved in this most recent Pisa attack. Attacks that have been a rarity for the bottom side of Serie A this afternoon. Torre forced all the way back to his goalkeeper by Rasmus Højlund. Napoli win it back though, have enough numbers to swarm the ball, and De Bruyne's smuggled it through to Højlund. De Bruyne's been caught, but play goes on because Alisson has it on the edge of the penalty area, looking to make space for a shot, but Pisa have enough bodies back, and De Bruyne's remained down here, and there's cause for concern of the Napoli playmaker as a yellow card is shown to Caricciolo for his challenge on the Belgian. Just upended Kevin De Bruyne, who had his feet taken away from him. It's actually a nasty stamp on the ankle as well of Kevin De Bruyne from Caricciolo. And the worry for the welfare of Kevin De Bruyne is paramount here, because he's not one to stay down lightly. He's certainly feeling the effects of the big centre-half challenge on him. He struggles to get back to his feet now, and it's a yellow card for the centre-half and captain, Antonio Caleciolo. And he's caught him with a nasty stamp on the ankle and really taken his legs from under him. Well, a player of Kevin De Bruyne's quality is always going to attract those sorts of challenges as players scamper to get near him. And here come two more changes for Napoli as they just look to see out this game that would really consolidate second place for them. Gutierrez is going to come on for Spinazzola, one of the changes that was made in the build-up for this one. Gutierrez, the Spaniard, and Vergara is on as well for Napoli. Again, just some fresh legs to see things out. Alisson, who's been a thorn in the side of Pisa this afternoon, he's going to make way for Antonio Vergara. Problem here for Torre, who's gone down after an aerial duel with Scott McTominay, a clash of heads between the two of them, of which the Pisa fullback has come out worse. A sporting handshake between the two, as the two just shake off any remaining stars that they can see in their eyes after the clash of heads, and the referee happy to just let play go on with the ball at the feet of Alex Meret in the Napoli sticks. So it's Como have taken a 1-0 lead against Parma, so they join that traffic jam culminating behind Napoli, which is going to be almightily interesting going into the final day. Milan and Roma on equal points in third and fourth. Como 2 points behind them in fifth, joint on points with Juventus, who still trail to Fiorentina because their equaliser was ruled out a few minutes ago. As Caleciolo a bit too heavy-handed with Rasmus Højlund, and the Pisa captain and centre-half needs to be careful because he's on a yellow card and wasn't too subtle with that challenge on Højlund. Of course, Pisa had two men sent off in their previous game against Cremonese, as both Boshinov and Loyola saw red, and a loss of discipline for the bottom side. They won't want to lose any more players before the final day. The side just looking to restore a bit of pride at the end of what has been a very tough Serie A season for them. Just 2 wins all season. Looks like they're going to concede goal number 67 and 68 today. Desperate not to concede number 69 in this final 8.5 minutes. Napoli, though, knowing how tight it is going into the final day, desperate, I'm sure, to improve their goal difference to give themselves the best chance of securing second should the worst happen next week. It's certainly in their hands, as Rasmus Højlund sandwiched between Torre and Caleciolo, looking to keep a ball in play. It's the final touch coming off of him, so it's going to be a goal kick for Pisa. And Adrien Semper, who, to Pisa's credit, hasn't been tested too much in the second half. He showed what he can do, the Croatian, in that first half. Flying save against venomous effort from Elif Elmas, and wasn't too much at fault for the 2 goals. And that's credit to Pisa and their back line, in that they haven't had to rely on their goalkeeper too much in this second period, because Napoli haven't really threatened a third goal on too many occasions. This is De Bruyne for Napoli inside his own half. We've got 7 minutes to go here at the Arena Garibaldi. All the clubs in European places, bar Juventus, holding up their end of the bargain up and winning to keep it nice and interesting going into the final day next week. This is Oliveira on halfway. Sends it back into the centre for Romani, whose header after 26 minutes really cemented Napoli's authority and stamp on this contest. And very much made this result a foregone conclusion. Pisa still working hard off the ball to look to keep Napoli at bay. This is Romani. Oliveira looks for the 1-2 with Gutierrez. Doesn't come off, and Pisa can look to capitalise on the counter-attack. And it's Vural who's caught late as he released the ball on that counter-attack. So Pisa are going to get the free kick just over halfway. Scott McTominay heavy-handed. 5 minutes to go here. Milan have scored a second goal against Genoa to cement their spot in third place going into the final day. Vural felt he was caught again. Referee agrees. Free kick in a very similar spot for Pisa, and they're just looking to make the most of these set pieces. It's dead centre, just over the centre circle. Oliveira this time the guilty party. And Pisa elect to take it short again. Toure bursting forward for Pisa. His attempted ball forward though is cut out in the midfield there by Napoli. Buakima specifically. And they'll just enjoy some safe possession once again at the back. The team who are going to hang on to second place going into the final day, Napoli. Bar some kind of a miracle from a Pisa side that look very low on stamina at this point, and whose engines don't look like they've got too much capacity left in them. Merits, the Napoli goalkeeper. And we're going to see one final change from Napoli the next time the ball goes dead. Pascal Mazzacocchi. He's going to come on as Napoli just have the ball at the back. This is De Bruyne, just looking to see this game out without too much drama. De Bruyne looks for Gutierrez in the channel, comes off his back, and that allows Pisa to clear through Heuholtz. Meister is on the charge, but on the cover back there is Rahmani, the goal scorer. But Napoli have lost it, but because McTominay was fouled, that's the reason they lost it, and so it's going to be pulled back for a free kick for the foul on Scott McTominay. And we're going to see that final change as Di Lorenzo is going to be replaced by Mazzocchi, and the captain's armband is passed on to Alex Meret as Di Lorenzo makes his way off the pitch 4 minutes from time. Still getting back to full fitness after a lengthy spell on the sidelines, Giovanni Di Lorenzo. And on comes Mazzocchi. High fives all round for the captain. And Mazzocchi will see out this final 3.5 minutes plus stoppages. So this is Rahmani, the game restarting, and Napoli are just going towards the finish line with a swagger here and approaching the full-time whistle in a very comfortable position indeed. Lobotka runs into trouble though. Meister looking to take advantage down the left-hand side. Pisa feel they've done enough to win the throw-in. Instead it's going to be a Napoli ball. Napoli throw it in there, right back position. This is Oliveira at the back. Square it goes to Rahmani on the edge of his own penalty area. He's given it away, but he was fouled as he did give it away by Vural, who just caught the goal scorer, Amir Rahmani, on the edge of the Napoli penalty area. And a flash of hope for Pisa and some kind of a consolation, quickly whisked away from them with the awarding of the free kick for Napoli, who are now going to make it 22 wins from 37 games in Serie A. Just too many draws, and that run of defeats and draws are they're gonna look back and see that held them back from retaining their title and really posing a threat to Inter Milan into the dying embers of this season as McTominay is caught. But they're going to bring this winless run to an end. Napoli, no win in 2 against Como, and defeat to Bologna, which really felt like a sucker punch when Jonathan Rowe struck in stoppage time last Monday. So they're going to put those demons to bed unscathed here and pick up their 8th clean sheet in their 19 away games, it looks like, pending a Pisa fight back in stoppage time. But they've played the game with real authority, Napoli, and once they got those 2 goals to the good, you can see they really took their foot off the gas and knew that they could enjoy their afternoon in the sunshine. It wasn't without a few scares, though. Filip Stojakovic threatened at the end of the half and had the best chance for Pisa, which came in first half stoppage time, denied though point blank by Alex Merritt, and then Stefano Moreo with a thunderous volley that was well dealt with by the Napoli shot stopper as well. Here he is on the ball. We're going to have stoppage time, 4 minutes of it at the end of the game, as Meister charges down Alex Merritt. As we just see images of the crowd on our monitors, in good spirits, the fans in Tuscany here. They're just happy to have a football club again that they can support. So fired forward by Merritt. Free header back there is going to be for, well, I thought it was going to be for Canestrelli, but he's made a mess of it. That allows Napoli to come forward down the right-hand side, charging towards the byline. And it's pulled back by Vergara, but no one in particular, and Pisa can calmly clear the ball away. Well, Milan have conceded late against Genoa to set up a grandstand finish in stoppage time. Milan 2, Genoa 1. Juventus have conceded the second to Fiorentina, so Juventus will finish the day in 6th. Level on points with Como, occupying the Europa League places. It'll be a big blow for Juventus if they can't break into the Champions League place. It's going to go all down to the final day for Juve after they couldn't overcome Fiorentina, and Milan have to be careful as well. But here come Napoli, looking to put this one to bed. De Bruyne coming forward edge of the penalty area, fires it to far side of the box, and it's turned in inside the penalty area by Rasmus Højlund, and he marks his afternoon with a goal. 3 goals for Napoli, 3 points for Napoli, and they enjoy the celebrations in the Tuscany sunshine as Rasmus Højlund takes his goal tally to 14 for the season, and he can just see the relief on the face of the big Dane. His first goal in 7 games, and it's one that just makes this scoreline look a little bit more convincing to how Napoli have dominated proceedings tonight. The ball across from Mozzocchi after being found by Kevin De Bruyne, whipped across the 6-yard box, and Rasmus Højlund just instinctively threw out a left leg and found the back of the net. And it's a roar of belief from the Danish striker as he gets himself back on the score sheet, and Napoli will take all 3 points back to Naples, and Kevin De Bruyne with a big helping hand in seeing Napoli put 3 past Pisa. Yeah, a scoreline that reflects a bit more the dominance that Napoli have exerted this afternoon. Pisa coming forward. They've won themselves a free kick through Han Cuadrado just shy of the corner of the penalty area. as they look for a consolation and something for their home fans to celebrate on what is their final home game. But no, Napoli breaking in a flash. De Bruyne playing the ball across to Mazzocchi. His first time ball measured into the 6-yard box, and Rasmus Højlund with a striker's instinct to turn home from short range. So Cuadrado waiting to deliver this. This will be the final act of the game as the 4 minutes are almost up. Cuadrado into the penalty area, bouncing around inside the box. And there is the full-time whistle. Napoli do what they need to do to keep themselves right in contention for second and keep a tight grip on those Champions League places. They've secured the continental stage for next season. Goals from Scott McTominay and Amir Rahmani in the first half. Pisa, to their credit, were robust and resolute in the face of adversity, and a game where they were well outmatched by the team clinging on to second in Serie A. Stojakovic had the best chance of the game for the home side. He was denied by merit at the end of the first half, and then the points were made secure in stoppage time when Rasmus Højlund got himself on the score sheet. An instinctive finish from the ball in from Mazzocchi capped off a great afternoon in the Tuscany sunshine for the side from Naples as they secure Champions League football for next season. Here at the Arena Garibaldi, it's finished Pisa 0, Napoli 3. Napoli into the